Welcome back to the final section in Display Express training, setting up control panels and users. In this case, we're using good old reliable Internet Explorer 9 to operate the final browser I'm using for these sessions. And I'm starting at the administrator page where everything else is going on. And we're now going to set up control panels and then what rights people have to access panels and other features in the system. As you remember, with the control panels, there's presets can be assigned to buttons, and you can arrange them in patterns, much like a control panel. And I can switch between, this is one typically for a telephone. This works pretty well on my iPhone, actually. And then maybe a tablet designed more to optimize, say, an iPad or a larger Android tablet. By the way, we do tend to like the iPad for control functionalities, especially sports bars and things like that, where it's like acting like a dedicated touch panel, because the iPad has a whole array of accessories and features and locks and holders and everything else you can have access to. It also renders the pages extremely well. They're nice rounded buttons. They look quite nice. And in addition, once you log into the pages, it stays there. So you can pick it up and use it more like a control panel. You don't have to log into the system every time you want to use it. It's always available to you as a control panel. But this works with any type of Android panel. I've used this with Kindle Fires. I've used them with Asus panels. Everything works fine. These are very conventional pages with nothing fancy on them to make it only browser specific with one or the other browser. It's very straightforward. And then we also have TV panels where instead of presets, I click a button, I click a channel I want it to go to, and I send it to that channel. And as you notice, we can assign multiple pages for somebody. The examples we usually see is I have somebody who wants to go around and do certain setup functions within a sports facility. They like that on the iPad. One site uses this on a smartphone with a few buttons because the tour guide can go through and make a couple things happen in one part of the facility, but the tour guide cannot interrupt with the activity of the larger stadium at the large. It's very focused, tight control. The TV panels are popular with sports bars. They like this because they can use an iPad. They don't need an external control system. They can do everything right through Display Express, and all they have to do is have an iPad or something and show up the pages, and the bartender can arrange this by section. He can walk around, set up the TV, and then go back and put it in the charging dock when he's done. And so he may always just use the control panels and very manual controls to set up the array. And he can adjust volume as well manually or turn the set on and off. So it's a very flexible system of assignment for panels. Let's go and see how these pages were created. On the control panels, you have an array of buttons. You can choose up to 25 rows and up to 4 columns. So there's quite a bit of buttons, and sometimes you're doing that to make some spaces to make the control defined for people. So let's take a look at that tablet panel I made and see how that was made. So here's my array of buttons I have, and notice I've left some gaps open to make it easier for people to find buttons, just like you would do for a touch panel. And I've done 8 rows with 3 columns. And you can change the text, by the way. You can make it this size or larger. Sometimes with some tablets, changing the font size is very good to do, especially with smartphones and some of those 7-inch tablets. It'd be good to make the font a bit bigger. And then all you have to do to make this is I'll pick a command, say input TV. And you just click the button, and there it is. If you decided you don't want it there, you hit clear button, click the button again, and it's gone. So all you do is click the buttons and arrange them as you want, and then save it. And you created a panel. And you could do this, I've done it, see there's a smartphone with very larger displays, and I've only done 2 columns, a single column, and other variations on making panels. And again, this can be assigned to people, and I'll show you how to do this. A TV panel is more a manual control panel, so some stuff is pre-designed for you. Now, instead of presets, you're going to be placing TVs or groups or zones on a panel. So here's my little TV test I do when I'm testing some of the products on my test jig for tech support. And let's say I have another particular display I want to include in here in the center TV, and I'll stick that here. And temporarily it'll show me the number, so I say, yeah, that's the right one I want. And this is very powerful because when I want to turn all my TVs off, I'll go to the zone, and then I'll click here. Then I can make my tuners and my TVs all go off when I'm done or turn on in the morning when I want to go back to work. And all you do is place buttons. There's a predefined graphic over here, and you can do, again, 25 buttons down by 3 across. And again, change the font, give it a name, and then you save it. And you just keep on going, and you can see, obviously, on some of your designs, here I did it for like a bar where the left pod, here's all the TVs on the sides and backs and front, all the ones on the left, I can make all the ones on the right, add all displays, and arrange the buttons any way I want. Now, access is determined this way. If you're an administrator, you have access to all the panels you've created. That's not a problem. But more than likely, you're going to have different kinds of users in the system. So let's create a system called a panel user, where they're going to log in, and all they're going to see are the control panels we assigned to them. So what we did is we said, this person's a panel user. We just made it real simple, a name. You could put a password in if you want to as well. The name is not case sensitive, password is. And then you just take panels, let's see, TV control A, where's that default panel? And you stick it over there. And so you can make a list of panels, it'll go alphabetically, and say, no, I changed my mind, I don't want that. And then you also define what control panel do you want to see come up first. And then I save that. And so anytime somebody logs into the system with the word panel, they'll see just the control panels, nothing else in the system. A system user I alluded to in some of the past sessions. A system user can see everything the administrator can do, and they can modify schedules, but they can't go in and change the sets involved. They can't change the presets. They can't change all the statistics in the system. So he has a level of safety that he can manage one part of the system and he can use all the control panels. He just can't change the system. And then administrators, what I've been demonstrating, where I can come in and all the time. And all we did is assign it to admin. So when you first get the software, this name will always be in there that allows you to get to the system and address our software. And then, so for example, if I log off and I go into the name panel, that person is just going to see this. So there's my little TV test panel that we made up. There's my tablet, so I can have some general control over my TVs. And there's the TVs for the sports bar. And those are the 3 I can access. That's all I can do when I log in by that name. And again, you can password protect it if you wanted to. And that's how users and everything are created within Display Express. Thank you for going through the sessions. You can always email me at doug@crwww.com with questions on some of these features and operation. We also have a blog at Contemporary Research. Go to our website at contemporaryresearch.com, select the blog at the top of the page, and then click CR Support Display Express. And I have a whole series of items on how to install the software in XP Pro and Windows 7 Pro in your own computer, what kind of TVs are good to use with your system, and what's the market like right now on some of the features and benefits, and all of that, some tips on Display Express, and we'll keep on building more ideas to support your activities in Display Express through the blog. Thank you, and goodbye.